If you're struggling to quit your job as a copywriter, developer, designer, content strategist, etc., or really any skill that is transferable into freelancing, and you want to transition into doing freelancing full time, then this video is for you. Okay, you might be wondering, like, what is this all about? Well, have you ever asked yourself, have you tried countless times to do this, to transition from a 9 to 5 to freelancing, but you never seem to find the time? You always end up getting busy with one or two freelance clients on the side, but they're not enough for you to transition, and you kind of stay there. And you would really want to be able to find a way to successfully transition from doing full time to doing freelancing. And you would want your months to look like this, so you don't have to, fear the ups and downs of business. You want that steady paycheck in freelancing as well. If this is what's going on inside of your head, then I can definitely help you. My name is Dennis. I'm the founder at freelanceclients.com. And in today's training, I'm going to show you the exact system we used to help many, many people go from working, as an expert in a full-time position to transitioning to freelancing full-time, working for themselves. Okay, and don't just take my word for granted. Just two examples real quick. So this person right here was a finance copywriter for a big corporate company. Now she's making around 5K per month with freelancing, which is even more than her previous job. And then job number 3 place, we have someone that worked for a bank, and now she has 3 clients for email marketing, and they're both doing great. And there's plenty more people like this that we help. You can just go to freelanceclients.com and you will be able to see the testimonials, the interviews, the case studies, and everything, right? But right now, let's focus on this video and let's focus on helping you achieve the same result. Okay, before we get into the actual strategy and the step-by-step and what you need to do, I need to make one thing clear. The reason why you're not able to transition into freelancing full time is not because of your strategy. It's not because of your services or your pricing structure or your hourly rate or anything like that. And it's certainly not because of the economy, okay, like many people say. This is simply because of one thing. It's because you are trying to work more to get more when it's impossible, okay? Because in theory, if we think about it, if you actually put in 8 hours a day on top of your full-time job, you will eventually grow a freelance business, right? But you can't do that, right? Because you don't have like 48 hours in a day. You only have 24. You might have other responsibilities, right? Maybe you have a kid, maybe you have a dog. So I can understand that you cannot do that, okay? And this is what we need to understand in terms of transitioning to full-time freelancing. First of all, I can understand that many of you do not want to do what most people say, which is, hey, you need to take the leap of faith, save up for like 6 months of emergency funds, quit the job, and then do like your thing with business and see if you can figure it out in 6 months. If not, you can go back to a job and whatever, right? You're not gonna hear in the middle of this video that you need to do the leap of faith, and I'm gonna, start talking about mindset and stuff. This is a method that works even if you want to keep your full-time job for stability while you slowly grow your pipeline and you can transition out of it, okay? Because again, I am aware not everyone is a 20-year-old that can take, the bull by the horns and just do freelancing, and if things go bad, then nothing happens. I understand you have responsibilities and bills to pay. So this method will work for you as well, okay? I just wanted to make that clear before we jump on. So yeah, cool. Now let me explain one simple principle that will change your mind and your perception about freelancing, okay? Our currencies as human beings, we have two currencies, okay? We have time, which is limited, unfortunately. We cannot decide how much time we spend on this planet, okay? And then we have money, which is unlimited because it gets printed every day. You can earn money through a lot of ways, right? But unfortunately, you cannot get your time back. And people often tell you that you need to implement new strategies, new habits, new things in order to make more, right? Which again, in theory, it's true. But how can you add 5 hours a day consistently from Monday to Saturday of doing the business stuff on top of your job and on top of your life, right? It's very hard. It's very, very hard. And for someone that has the time and they choose to pay with it, right? If you don't have any other responsibilities and you just want to jump into freelancing, you can do it, okay? You can click off this video, then you don't really need to learn all this stuff, right? But because we are uneducated, even people that have a full-time job, for instance, and they don't really have time, they still think that money is more important. and you'd much rather spend 2 hours of your time every day inconsistently failing towards something instead of paying with money to get the solution. Okay, and this is what I need you to understand. Why would you value a piece of paper more than your time? Is there any reason for it? Because from what I actually know, you can get money through your existing job, credit, you can sell your couch, speak with your family and friends, you can get a loan, you can get a credit card, you can get some extra clients, right? So there's like money is everywhere, okay? You can make money, you can get your hands on money. And you can actually choose to switch the currency and start paying with money instead of time, right? So instead of you doing the work, right, to build this business and to get the clients, you can pay someone that has that as a full-time responsibility to do their thing, right? Just as you are like an employee for a company and you do your job all day long 9 to 5, that's how you can have someone under your belt. Okay, and before you click off this video, you're not going to need to put someone on a $5,000 salary, and you're not going to need to build a company and do all of those things. Okay, stick with me and you're going to understand everything. It's a complicated process, I must say, so it's only going to make sense after you go through the entire thing and you can connect the dots for yourself. Okay, um but yeah, so you may ask, okay, Dennis, but how do I switch the currency? Because I'm ready to do it, right? This is the only thing you need to do to be successful. Okay, and this right here, you don't need any course, you don't need to pay anyone to tell you this. Okay, you need to delegate what is not decreasing your value as a freelancer. Okay, keyword delegate, right? Because this is what happens. You are a 9 to 5er transitioning to freelancing. So your way of thinking, your perception of things, your principles are all around what you've done in your 9 to 5 job, right? And that's fine. That's normal because that's how the world works. But if you take that mentality into freelancing, that's why you think that working hard for it instead of paying with money is better. However, what I need you to do is I need you to flip the side of the coin and start going towards more of a business owner mindset and bring that into freelancing. You don't need to start your own business, okay? To be able to do freelancing, but you need to adapt certain things from a business owner, because at the end of the day, you are still, running a mini business. Basically, you are working with multiple clients and you have to manage things, right? So what do I mean by delegating what's not decreasing your value as a freelancer? Well, as a freelancer, you have two types of skills. You have invaluable skills and you have transferable skills, okay? Your invaluable skills are your delivery capabilities, right? So if you are, for instance, like a copywriter, your ability to write stuff, your ability to deliver that stuff, then that's invaluable. You cannot pay someone to do it because it would defy the purpose of you being a freelancer. Client communication, same thing as above, right? So you are the only one that can truthfully communicate with your client in the most efficient way. And the same thing with the strategy session process, right? In terms of sales and selling your service, you are the one that knows your rates the best, what you would do for what kind of money. You can set the rules for that yourself, okay? But what are transferable skills? Well, transferable skills are prospecting, right? Why would you spend 3 hours a day looking for leads and sending cold emails when that process can easily be automated, right? Technical setups. Why would you take your time to set up, I don't know, let's say like you're doing email marketing and you need to set up an autoresponder. Why would you take time to do that instead of paying someone 10% of your retainer to take care of that for you, right? Data tracking and collection. Why would you spend your time looking at numbers and crunching them when you can hire a virtual assistant to do all of your accounting, right? But the main one we're going to be talking about today is prospecting, because this is truly what you need to delegate if you want to be successful, because this takes the most time, right? And you know it. If you're not specifically relying on referrals and word of mouth, which is inconsistent anyways, you're probably doing some form of prospecting, right? Maybe you're doing Instagram DMs, LinkedIn DMs, Facebook DMs. Maybe you're searching for leads and you scrape like lead lists and you call them, or you send emails, or whatever it is, right? Or even applying on Upwork. That's still prospecting, right? But why would you do that with your time when you can pay someone to take that responsibility on full time? And besides that, you would get like 4x, 5x the amount of volume, right? Because that person doesn't have another full-time job and a family to take care of, okay? But you have to ask yourself, which one pays me the most amount of time? And that's what you need to decide on what to transfer, right? In this case, I promise you it's 99% going to be prospecting, but in case you are a more advanced, freelancer, a more sophisticated individual, I still want to go through the principles so you can understand what to do with this information, okay? So, recapping so far, right? You have to understand the currencies and you have to understand invaluable and transferable skills. Put them on a piece of paper, look at the transferable ones and ask yourself which one pays me the most amount of time. How do I calculate this? Very simple. Let me show you, okay? So, if we look at a day-to-day schedule, okay, we have retained prospecting versus delegated prospecting. If we are the ones doing prospecting, we have like 8 hours. We have our 9 to 5 job, right? Then we have like another 8 hours of sleep. Then we have 3 hours of personal activities, taking the dog out, gym, cooking, shopping, or whatever, right? And then we have 2 hours of outreach and social media per day, right? So let's say you're spending 2 hours a day on doing prospecting, finding leads, messaging them, and all of that stuff, right? And then you also have maybe one sales meeting a day with a potential client, and then you have like 22 total, right? So with this schedule right here, you only have 2 hours left to work with freelance clients and make money. And no wonder you cannot make enough to transition out of your job to doing freelancing full time, right? Because let's say that if you charge like $100 an hour, okay, that means you are making you can make about $200 a day in profit, right? And since we are not paying anyone yet for delegating the prospecting, you are getting left with like $200 per day in profit, okay? Now, let's look at a situation where we have delegated prospecting, okay? You have the same thing in this schedule right here, okay? So you have your 9 to 5 job for 8 hours, sleep for 8 hours, personal activities for 3, and you still have the sales meeting for 1 hour, okay? But we do not have the prospecting and the outreach and social media because we delegated it. Well, now you have 4 hours left to work with freelance clients and make money. So now you're going to make about $400 a day. So you double your revenue. And then delegation through the system I'm about to show you is only going to cost you $10 a day, right? It's going to cost you only $10 a day, okay? So then you get left with $390 a day in profit, right? So now make the difference. You actually make more money if you delegate prospecting. You just have to get over the false belief of paying someone is getting money out of the pocket, because it's not, okay? If we look at it from a business owner's perspective, you are earning money by delegating this task because your invaluable skills now have more time to be delivered, okay? Because you make money when you deliver work. You don't make money when you prospect. You don't make money when you do the setup. You don't make money when you track data, okay? Yes, they are part of growing the freelancing practice, but you're not directly making money, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're making a $190 a day extra by having this thing delegated, right, that means you have an extra 2.8K per month plus in capacity, and this is only if you work 15 days a month, right? So not even if you're fully booked. If you're fully booked, it's even more. I think it's around 6,000 a month or something like that, right? But now, do you see the difference? Like, would an extra, even 4K or 5K on top of your current capacity, would that help you transition out of the job? I think so, right? Or I think it would at least put you in a position where you can actually save money to take the leap of faith in a couple of months without being scared or afraid, okay? So, anyways, now that we've gone through everything, I hope you understand the concept and what I'm talking about. Would you still like to pay with time? That's the question. If yes, then this video will not make sense for you moving forward. If not, and if you are determined that you need to start switching the currency, then you can watch this moving forward, okay? So now I've prepared a 3-step process on what you need to do to make sure this happens, okay? And step number 1 is very simple. You need to understand what works, okay? Because I'm starting with 2 quotes right now, right? So you need to do more of what works and less of what doesn't. If you have a particular type of prospecting, maybe for you it's Upwork, maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's cold emails, right? You should do more of that. And you should drop the other methods because you don't need 10,000 things. You only need one that works very well, okay? And then Albert Einstein said, insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Same thing here. If you're not seeing good results with any of your outreach methods or prospecting methods, then you cannot expect different results, right? Which brings me to part number 1 of step 1, okay? You do not need a fancy new strategy. Okay, you don't need to buy 10,000 courses or do 5 years of training or whatever. What you're doing right now, which is, sending like requests on Upwork, looking for jobs on LinkedIn, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, what you're doing now probably works super well, but you're just not doing enough of it with enough consistency. Okay, because that's the reality. If we look at this chart right here, this is a good case scenario, because some days maybe you have to go to the gym, cook, and make and like do the shopping and take the dog out. Maybe your wife has an appointment you have to drive her to. Maybe you need to go buy some clothes for a vacation. So I promise you, you're not going to be able to keep the schedule 365 days a year, right? It's going to be maybe even less than half. Okay, so that's why doing more of it is the way to go, but not by yourself, but by using human resources. Okay, so step number one is all about outreach methods, okay, and prospecting. And I just want to talk about the difference in outbound versus inbound, because if you didn't connect the dots so far, this strategy is going to be about leveraging outbound, right, to do this entire thing. It's not going to be about leveraging people to take care of your referrals, because that's not how it works, right? But let's look at a difference. Inbound, it's easy to convert because they come to you, right? However, it is not trackable because you don't know how many people are going to come to you every single month. Maybe you have a rough idea, but you don't know specifically how many. It has ups and downs, right? I promise you, I know, right? I've spoken with thousands of not only copywriters but freelancers so far, and everyone that's relying on referrals and word of mouth, you have these ups and downs, right? You have periods where it's going super well, and then you have like a dry period for a couple of months. So ups and downs, right? And then last thing, it cannot be sustainable without outbound, because something that you cannot track and something that has ups and downs, you can't call that sustainable. And this is probably why you cannot leave your job, because you're relying purely on inbound, and of course it's not sustainable, and you wouldn't want to leave your steady paycheck for this, right? But now let's look at outbound. Outbound, indeed, it is hard to convert. Okay, it's gonna be super hard to close deals from outbound, because it's cold, right? You don't know that those people don't know you. However, it is trackable. You can keep track of exactly how many messages you send every single day, how many responses you get, how many people you book in. You can double, triple, quadruple that number easy, okay, because it is trackable. It is consistent, right? Because you do the same thing every single day and you know it works, right? After you figure out what works for you, if you do it every single day with consistency and you track the numbers, it will give you that consistency. So no more ups and downs, right? If you lose one client, you know that you know what you have to do and how many messages you need to send to get a new one. And lastly, it can be sustainable without the other, because no matter if you are like leveraged enough to have referrals or word of mouth, maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you don't have that network yet, right? Because it's very hard to build it. You don't need any form of inbound to be able to make enough money from outbound to actually quit the job, right? Because this is sustainable. And I like this quote by Peter Drucker: what gets measured gets managed, right? If you can measure something, you can manage it. Just like if you go to the gym, right? If you track your calories, for instance, you can manage that. But if you just eat whatever, let's say you have a wife, right? And the wife brings like takeaway every single day at home. You don't know what you're gonna eat. You don't know how many calories, how much protein, right? You cannot measure that. So because of that, you're gonna have days when you like it, when you don't like it, when you're hungry, when you're not hungry. Well, with outbound, if you track everything and you know it, right, it gets managed. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. And then as well, just a study done by a couple of HubSpot and Market Joy and a couple of other agencies and famous people in the space. So especially in B2B context, because I know most of you guys are B2B, right? Um, so outbound allows companies to build sales pipelines more quickly by targeting untapped leads directly, right? This approach can accelerate revenue growth faster than relying on inbound methods, which typically take longer to show results, right? And also, Calbox explains that outbound marketing remains effective because it allows businesses to actively reach potential customers, right? It's just like being proactive. It's just like going to the gym every single day instead of just relying on your invitations from friends to go hiking for an active lifestyle, if that makes sense, right? And outbound marketing can also require more budget upfront when done correctly. It often results in a faster return on investment. Because as I showed you in the chart right here, the return on investment is like a no-brainer, right? You don't have to think about it. Of course, it's like better than this. So yeah, um, and yeah, you cannot duplicate. What you have to understand again is you cannot duplicate referrals, word of mouth, or inbound leads coming to you. Okay, but you can duplicate outbound, which is LinkedIn cold DMs, cold emails, cold calling, cold messages on Instagram, or whatever your method might be. Okay, and what do I do if I don't have a proven method? What if nothing worked for me so far? Even if I did quite a lot of volume, maybe you tried like 2 to 3 things and they didn't work. Okay, but you have two options. You can either pay with time and you spend 8 months maybe testing 3 methods by yourself with no guarantee and with no consistency, so you don't actually have the real data of whether it works or not. Or you can pay someone that knows what they're doing and replicate it, right? And in our case, that's what we do at freelanceclients.com, right? So we do not sell any courses or coachings or whatever. We literally build this delegated system for you. So you just pay with money. We deliver that to you in a couple of weeks. We help you manage it. And then in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks, you start having booked meetings in your calendar with prospects without you having to learn anything, go through a program, attend coaching and all that stuff, right? It's done for you. It's instant. It's fast, right? So before we move on with the training, because I'm not going to leave you hanging, of course, but just wanted to make a parenthesis here. If you are interested to learn more about what we do, there's a link in the description of this video where you can go and schedule an appointment with either me personally or a lead advisor from our team. And we will walk you through what we do and how it works. Okay, so yeah, no obligation consultation. Just see if you think it will be helpful. Okay, and one thing that I recommend doing is I recommend you go and watch this training on my channel if you don't have any financial resources at the moment. This training broke down the exact strategy we used to book 22 sales calls from just 400 outreach messages on LinkedIn for one of our clients. Okay, so this is on my channel. Go search for it. I'm probably going to put it in the description as well. But you can watch this and you can get an idea of how an outreach strategy, an effective one, should look like. Okay, there we go. Now you have the strategy. So cool. Now let's go to step number 2. Okay, Dennis, I have the strategy. Maybe you watched my video and now you actually have the strategy, but how do I delegate it now? Well, we have tested tens of methods when it comes to outsourcing acquisition to other people, and many of them failed, right? We even tested automated software, AI, all of these other things. They all failed, okay? But one that works for us, and it's something that we did for over 128 people at the time of me recording this video, and we're going to keep doing it for God knows however long, is hiring a specialist in the field from the Philippines and train them on your specific process. Okay, you might be wondering, Dennis, why Philippines? Let me tell you why Philippines. Okay, they have great work ethic. They are the hardest working people I've ever seen in my life. That's why we work with them. And even in our team at freelanceclients.com, we have a couple of Filipinos, right? Second one, they have no scam culture, right? I know like some third world countries, they have this scam culture around them. People know them for being scammy, right? And not delivering the work and doing these types of things, right? I'm not gonna name them because I don't want to be that person, but um, Filipinos don't have that, okay? They will not scam you. They work for reasonable prices for just $10 to $20 a day, which is the price of a couple of coffees, really, or maybe even one if you like Starbucks. They can do the entire prospecting for you. Just to break it down for you, on average, our clients pay about $10 a day for 2 to 3 hours of outreach work done every single day. Okay, and this is great for them as well because their economy is like it's way lower than the United States. So if you end up paying someone $400 to $500 a month, including bonuses and everything, they're actually making what's in their country a full-time salary with 2 to 3 hours of work from the comfort of their home on their laptops. So people are going to be okay with that deal. And then lastly, they are lovely and coachable people. I promise you that they learn very fast, and as long as you are on their asses about learning the process and doing everything right, they will do it. Okay, so that's why we want to hire a specialist in the Philippines. Okay, Dennis. So I understand now. How do I find them? Well, a quick tip is to avoid Facebook groups, okay? Just from my personal experience, I'm telling you now so you can avoid a couple of weeks of failure. Don't try posting in like Facebook groups that are called, Filipinos for jobs or jobs for like VAs or whatever, right? Usually people in Facebook groups, they're lower quality and they're just like random people trying to land like an online opportunity, so they're not actually dedicated a lot. So you need to have some sort of proof of their experience and that they know what to do at the base level, because you cannot hire like someone from the street and show them how to do prospecting. It's going to be super hard. But if you can get someone that has a base level knowledge of Instagram outreach, LinkedIn outreach, cold email, cold calling, then that is definitely going to work. Okay. So shouldn't be here. Two places that I recommend. Okay, one very self-explanatory, Upwork. Okay, just go on Upwork, search for the type of prospecting you want to do, LinkedIn outreach, or just general B2B outreach services or whatever, and then just go for location and type in Philippines. Okay, and as you can see right here, I already have like Hazel. She's charging $8 an hour, right? So this would be $16 a day. Mamem, she charges $7 an hour, so this would be literally $14 a day for 2 hours of work, right? Maybe $20 max if she's doing like 230 or whatever. And I promise you, like these are just top results, people that earned a lot of money on Upwork. But if you go to people that are not like in the top list, you can definitely find people charging $4 and $5 an hour, right? And this way you know that their profile is verified, they're engaged in a freelance career right now, and they are actually a virtual assistant. Okay. Second place is virtualstuff.ph. Okay, this is a paid platform. So I showed you like this Upwork is free and this is paid. It costs like $100 a month if I'm not wrong. But people on this platform are already trained, vetted, and they are like verified with their IDs and all of that good stuff, right? So you're not going to get any scam artists on this platform. So I highly suggest you make an account and it's the same as Upwork. You just set in your filters based on the price you want to pay, type of skills and whatever, and you will find a bunch of people ready to join you, right? You can even make posts on these two platforms and let people apply to you, and you can set your own pricing and you can just, go through applicants and all of that good stuff. Okay. So it's very simple. Now, what is the process of hiring this person? Okay, I have a little roadmap here for you. So the process is very simple. Number one, you need to build a video training on your method of finding clients. Okay, so whatever it is, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever your method is right now, you need to sit down, go to loom.com, which is what I'm using right now to record this video, and create a video training on your method of finding clients. Make sure it's very detailed with step-by-step instructions and everything they need to know. Okay. Then after the training is recorded, you want to post on the platforms above and reach out to talent and get applicants and reach out to these people until you have like 10 to 15 interviews booked. Okay. From what we've seen in our company, around 10 to 15% of interviews get hired. So there you go. This is the amount you need to be able to find one solid candidate for your job. Okay. And then obviously you want to host the interviews. So after you booked those interviews, you want to spend some time on a Google Doc and just see what kind of questions you would want to ask those people that would give you good insights into whether they'd be a good fit or not, right? So what their experience is, maybe what their job schedule looks like, the communication and how good their internet is, these types of things. Okay. And then you need to host the interviews, of course. You need to record them. Okay. So you can use Fathom Note Taker. It's free. It just joins your Zoom calls and you can record your meetings. And then you want to watch the recordings the second day. So you want to leave a day to go so you can leave all emotional baggage from that day right there. And you want to start with a fresh mindset and perspective and look at all the interviews and hire one person, plus keep one of them as plan B in case person A goes wrong, because you're still working with humans, so there is a slight possibility that it's not going to go as planned. Okay. So after we do this, you want to have an onboarding call with them where you share the training that you've built here and access to the outreach tools, whether that's your Instagram account, LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever, right? You want to share access and you want to give them the training. And then your new acquisition specialist then watches the training and they should ask you questions about how it works and different types of things from the training. And then you want to set up a 10 to 15-minute task once every 2 to 3 days to check on their work and call them to see if they need any assistance, right? That's literally it. Then they constantly produce demand for your service every single day, and that's how you win. Okay. It's literally like it looks It's simple but complex. Okay, like it's simple, but how can I say this so I don't sound like an idiot? It's simple, but at the same time, it's simple to understand, but it's complex to put together. Okay, but this is the price obviously we need to pay if we want to get to our goals. I never said it's going to be easy, right? So as a gift for you, because I prepared a gift for every step, right? So step number one, it was the outreach strategy. Step number two, in the description, I'd left a VA post template, which you can use on Upwork and on these platforms to hire this person. Okay. So this is step number two. Now, step number three is maintaining the system, because even if you build that system, right, this is not a passive income type method where I'm going to tell you, you just need to do this in like 30 minutes of a training and then it generates you leads and you don't have to do absolutely anything. No, that's not what it is. Okay. Even if you are now being more efficient, you still need to do your due diligence for 10 to 15 minutes every 2 to 3 days to actually make sure that this person is generating results for you. And how do you do that? You want to do that by measuring your numbers and tracking data. Okay. Again, what gets measured gets managed. Okay. So we need to measure the performance of this person. And by measuring, I mean, like, the number of messages they send, the number of messages, the number of responses they get, and everything else. Okay. How do you do that? It's very simple. So what we do is we follow a very simple system where that person just sends us like a report at the end of every single day that looks like this, where they just tell us what happened during that day. And then we have this document right here where we input all the numbers, and then it automatically calculates like the response rates and the positive rates and everything else, right? So it's very, very simple. Now, what you want to do is you want to make a step-by-step process of how your strategy looks like. Get daily clarity on the specialist's activity and results. So what matters for you? Maybe it's opened emails, maybe it's calls that people pick up, maybe it's whatever, right? And you want to track everything in a sheet and look at it weekly, okay? And then based on what's in the red, maybe your reply rate is bad, maybe your booking rate is bad, right? You want to fix the constraints based on those decisions, right? And yeah, that's pretty much what you want to do. Again, as a bonus, you can have this document right here for tracking that I shared. So you can just go here and download it in the description if you want to use it, or you can create your own one. That's fine by me. And then just to end with a couple of mindset principles for having like a virtual assistant, right? An outbound specialist. First of all, you want to train people well enough so they can leave. Treat them well enough so they don't want to. Okay, very important. How do you want to do this? Number one, communicate daily. Very important. Even if you don't have anything to tell them business wise, you still want to communicate with them daily and make sure that you at least say good morning to each other. It matters a lot. Okay. Second thing, you want to offer bonuses when they deserve it. So maybe you close a deal, maybe you get a new client. So you definitely want to offer a bonus so they feel motivated and they get you more and more and more, right? And then you want to teach them something on a weekly basis, right? Whether it's mindset, whether it's a new strategy, a new message, or whatever, you want to always be teaching them something new so they feel like they are under their master, right? Like they're learning something constantly and they need to stay with you for that growth. And then you need to congratulate them for their wins and coach them for their losses. Very important thing. We don't want to like be up like rude to them when they make a mistake. We just want to be a good coach and a good leader and make sure that they understand everything. And then lastly, we want to treat them as an equal. Okay, they are a person with goals just like you. Maybe you work with a student that's raising money to just do more with their life. So doing things like making them call you boss and whatever is not going to help, trust me. Okay, just treat them as an equal and be mindful that they are your partner and they will probably drive most of your business. That's going to get you out of your situation. So treat them with respect. Okay. And if you can do these things on a daily basis, if you can track the numbers after you hire this person, there you have it. Okay. This is the only thing you need. And I hope this training was really detailed enough to give you a perspective on what you need to do. Because I know you're tired of like going into another course and learning another method and trying it and it's not working. And then you have to get back to your 9 to 5 and work and whatever, right? I know you don't want to do that anymore. So here you are. Try this, implement it, do it for 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and see how it works. Okay. And if you want to leverage money even more, right? If you feel like you don't want to deal with this for the next 3 to 6 months, you want it built in 2 weeks, you should really schedule an appointment with our team because we can do this for you for a fraction of what you think this would cost probably. And it's going to be way more efficient, fast, and you're going to have it ready to go in the next month. Okay, so without anything further ado, I hope you enjoyed this training. If you like this type of stuff, also like this video so YouTube knows what to recommend to other people and it shows me what to create as well. And I will see you in the next one.